Hello, basketball fans, and welcome to our third round of our March Madness playoff special here at Overtime. I'm your host, Theodore Fernandez, back again. We are running late today, and I have very good news for all of our viewers. We have finally been able to lose Drew Warner. He was a last-minute replacement. We don't even want him here anyway. So we've got the three real ones here. Nick, I'm going to toss it over to you. How about your UNC Tar Heels? What a run for them!
Look, they're playing phenomenal right now. Honestly, the UCLA game was a little shaky. They were down most of the time, pulled away at the end. But the St. Peter's game, man, they really pulled away on that one. They've been playing great, playing awesome basketball.
Yeah, it's obviously sad to see how St. Peter's run had to end. Obviously, you were probably one of the very few that were happy to see it come to an end. Would have been cool to see St. Peter's in the Final Four. But their opponent will be Duke, and that's just such a crazy matchup. So incredible. Coach, you were actually the only one of us to pick Duke to the Final Four, so walk us through what you saw there.
All right, well, I'm going to walk you through a couple things. Number one, where's Drew Warner? All right? I have not had great games. I have not always presented well. My picks have not been great, but I showed up. Warner, a little shaky, and now he's hiding from us. He's ducking us right now, Theodore.
Yeah, the man's trying to use golf practice as an excuse. I don't think golf.
He's using golf practice as an excuse to get out of basketball beatings that Coach has been giving him. So, anyway, I like Duke. I like Coach K. I think the guy's going to play hard for him down the stretch. This is it. And nobody wants to be the reason that Coach K's career did come to an end. They want to give him everything they got. So, I am a Duke fan. I think they're going to do some good things.
Yeah, I honestly thought it would be the pressure of disappointing Coach K, and I thought that would hinder the team. Instead, as you've said, it's really enhanced their performance, and I've been so impressed by them. Now we're going to go right into our standings because this is the third round, so final chance to earn some points and come away with the win. I'm someone who likes to talk some smack, but I'm in no position to do that right now. I only got 1 out of the 4 games in that last round correct. I picked Kansas, but so did everyone else. That was absolutely atrocious by me. But I'm not in last place. Coach, you only have 9 points. You're in last place. What's gone wrong?
Well, I think I've been betting with my heart. I've been rooting for the teams with my heart and not my head. I really should have thought about ACC basketball. If we're talking football, we're talking SEC. If we're talking basketball, games of skill, I should have really put more emphasis on the ACC conference. So that's poor decision making by me. But I am not going to let that get me down. I guarantee an ACC team in the final 2.
That is such a bold statement. I don't know how you came up with it. It's like stocks. They say don't pick with your heart. But at the same time, when you watch this tournament, you just get so sucked into all these stories. It's so hard not to do, and I really think it makes it more fun. And but Nick, you really have picked with your heart. You've gone with UNC all the way, and it has worked. But the rest of your picks have been very solid too. You're in first place with 14 points.
Look, I was high in Gonzaga coming out, and I was also high in Houston. And wow, both of those teams really didn't perform. I mean, Houston took down the number 1 team. Gonzaga couldn't even take down the number 4 team in Arkansas, and they really put it to them. And Gonzaga really, really struggled this entire tournament. So that was just a bad pick. I should have just known what the struggles they've been going through. I thought they would pick it up, and they really didn't. Just have not picked it up.
Yeah, it's been disappointing. We'll be getting more in depth into Gonzaga in a minute. First, let's just close out this standing stuff. None of us are in the wild card point again. I'm extremely disappointed in all 4 of us for not having the guts to pick St. Peter's. I think we all missed the mark on that one, and we should all be ashamed of ourselves. How can we pick against Doug Eder? But Drew rounds out the 4. He's actually in second place, 11 points, but we're all right in it. Nick first. Everyone's separated by just 5 points. So this final round here, which is worth 8, very well could decide the champion. Or we'll all just get it wrong and Nick will come away with it. Never know how it's going to go here. So now that we've wrapped that up, let's get right into some West region talk. Gonzaga, such a disappointing loss to Arkansas. People have been saying it for years. I've never really bought into this idea that they can't win in this West Coast Conference. But maybe this claim has some validity. Nick, what do you think? Does Gonzaga need to make a leap?
They do. I think they could definitely win it. They've always been a powerhouse team. They've always won their conference, and they're still one of the best teams in college basketball, whether they perform in March Madness or not. So I do think they can win it. But when it comes to these big tournaments, they always seem to struggle in what seems to be the big games when it comes to free throw shooting or even three-point shooting in general, just putting the ball in the basket. You can't just rely on Drew Timme. Even though I think in that game, I think the Holmgren, his fifth foul was absolutely atrocious.
Yeah.
Had his hands up. That should not have been a fifth foul. And if he was in the game, that's still a game changer. It's Chet Holmgren. He is one of your best players, and him being taken out by that is just honestly ridiculous to me. But Arkansas did play better than them almost the entire game, and Gonzaga should have been a 1 seed and pulled away to begin with. But I do think they have the potential. They're going to have people coming in. So within the next couple of years, I do think they're going to win it. But this year just wasn't their year.
I agree
Coach,
with
we know
Nick.
you
I
love
mean,
those.
I felt like they should have won, and there's never excusing of officiating, but gee whiz, the foul call was a terrible call. They missed a call on the baseline, right? Did the kid step on the out of bounds?
It was a close one.
I mean, yeah. So there was some things that went against them that I thought would have changed the game, but you still got to win that game. Maybe playing in a different conference, just me talking, would give them a better opportunity to advance to the tournament if they're playing, a tougher schedule. That's no fault of their own. It really isn't.
Yeah, it's hard for they're such a small school. How do you throw them in with a school the size of UCLA or an Oregon? It's a tough discussion, but one that I think will be made a lot. And with the way college basketball is trending, it's definitely very possible in the near future. We're now going to slide over to the South, where me and Nick, we both had Houston taking it, and that just did not work out. Man, I'll tell you, watching 2 Houston games, those were so boring. So I was falling asleep watching them. Are the Cougars the most boring team in the nation?
Look, they're close to it. They're really, really close to it. You can't score 44 points in a game, make 1 3-pointer, and expect to win, even though they only lost by 6. They took down Arizona. They were in control the entire time. I thought they played very well in that game. But when it comes to the Villanova game, atrocious. Even though there's 2 really good defensive teams, both top defensive teams in the nation, still got to be able to put the ball in the basket. And when you're missing wide open threes in the stretch, you just won't be able to win like that. And when it comes to college basketball, you want entertainment, you want crazy buckets, you want high scoring, fast pace. And when it comes to Houston, they're just not that, and they're strictly defense. When it comes to offense, they really, really struggle.
Coach, as a as a football coach, you probably can relate to some of the stuff with Kelvin Sampson. Are you gonna jump to Houston's defense here?
I want to take on the question that you had about Coach Wright. Is he the best coach? I want to take that on. Is Jay Wright the best coach in college basketball? He's got him in the Final Four. I want to say he will be the best coach in college basketball in about 10 days. All right. So I think the best coach in college basketball is still coaching, and he's running around at Duke. So we're going to find out. But great basketball. I like a lot of Nick Nikosha's points about Houston, and you got to score. You can't come around with a JV score, man. In the NCAA Final Four, you got to be able to put the ball in the basket.
Yeah, I love Jay Wright. I love what he's been able to do at Villanova. You guys can see the signed photo in the background. One of my favorite coaches out there, and I agree it's kind of hard to put him above Coach K. But yeah, in 10 days maybe he will surpass him. Although I don't think we can forget your take that maybe this isn't it for Coach K. He's still standing by that.
Listen, why not? Does he look tired to you on that sideline? He looks fired up, man. He's yelling. He's getting excited. I don't even know his actual age. I want to say he's
75.
He's 75 years old. Man, I don't know. But, you even look at Roy White, like, the coach from UNC, Roy Williams. He, still involved at the basketball games, following his team around. And he just felt like he handed off the team to Hubert Davis, to a guy he loved, and he knew the program would be in great hands. I'm guessing that Coach K probably feels the same way about who he's handing his program off to.
Yeah, it's so hard to imagine Duke having any sort of a fall off when Coach K is gone.
Listen, they got a Warwick kid who's actually a Minnesota kid, gonna be playing for them, and Nick's played against the Filipowski kid. Tell me about what that kid's got coming in, Nick.
The kid's insane. He's a 6'9". He's basically a 6'9" guard. Can play anywhere. He's a 5-star. He's top 5 in his class. Duke coming in. They have 3 of the top 5 recruits. So
Incredible.
They're going to be completely fine in the next couple of years. And yeah, I don't think Coach K leaving is going to be it's going to be impactful, but it's not going to make a difference on where they are in college basketball.
Still recruited well, you're saying. Still recruited really well. Yeah.
Yeah, and Coach,
I saw Nick Nicosia take that Filipowski kid to the hole at the Warwick basketball camp in 2015. Saw it with my own eyes.
That's got to be a cool thing to be
able to say. It was awesome.
It's always great to see some talent come out of this area. Anyway,
I want to talk about one more thing. I think Villanova has been playing awesome, and they took down Michigan, they took down Houston, but are they going to be okay against Kansas with how they just lost more with the torn Achilles? He's going to be out for a while.
Yeah.
Are they still going to be that same Villanova team? I don't know, because Kansas is really hot. So how impactful do you guys think he's going to be without having him?
I don't think it'll make a huge difference, if we're being honest. I think Colin Gillespie just completely runs this offense. He has such control over really everything that happens. We all know the talent they have on this team. And one of the trademarks of a Jay Wright squad is that you never have to rely on any one player. I'm a huge Fordham basketball fan. Eric Paschal was an absolute star at Fordham for a year, transferred to Nova, where, he's an average starting center, and then 2018 Final Four, I'll never forget it. Goes off career night, drops about 25 points. Anyone can get hot on a Villanova team. And yeah, Moore will be a huge loss, but it will not matter in the grand scheme of things in my eyes. All right, if no one has anything else to add, we're going to jump to the other half of the bracket and discuss the Midwest, where we saw 2 very, very good runs. First from Iowa State, and then the Miami run with Jim Larrañaga that ran one more round. So, Coach, take your pick, dissect either one of these teams, and let me know, do you think these programs are building something up?
I'm not sure. I'm really not totally sure. You're asking me, how do I feel about Miami and Iowa State?
Yes.
Are they legit programs going forward? I don't know. I think Miami has underperformed a little bit in basketball over the years, and Iowa State, I'm surprised they're playing as well as they do. Miami is in a tough conference, guys. I mean, you're seeing it right now.
Yeah.
They're playing basketball against the best schools in the country, so I'm not sure if they can ever get out of the shadow of some of the true basketball blue bloods that they play against every week.
Nick, what do you think?
Look, I think Iowa State, I think this one's a fluke for them. I really don't think they're that high of a squad. I'm not really that big on Iowa State. Miami, on the other hand, I was high on them this year. I really think they're a good program. They were horrible the past couple of years, but this year they really stepped it up. But I also think it is a fluke, but I do think they're going to be the better team. I don't think Iowa State's going to be better than Miami in the long run, though.
Yeah.
The
transfer portal has really helped, in my opinion, schools like Miami, because it's a destination for a lot of college student athletes. And that transfer portal being open, and for those kids that are at other schools saying, man, I have a chance to move on and jump on the Miami roster, that's attractive to a 18 to 22-year-old, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's hard to justify, going and suffering through winter in Kansas when you can play at Miami or USC or UCLA or any of those schools.
Yep.
I have to disagree, though. Well, not necessarily disagree, because I think these are both legitimate programs, but I'm very high on Iowa State. TJ Ostelberger, whose name I can never pronounce, it fumbles in my mouth every time I try to say, but he's only 44 years old. This is a team that won just 2 games last year, as I'm sure anybody who watched an Iowa State game heard referenced at least 10 times for broadcast. Seems like they kept bringing it up. But it was a crazy turnaround. And this run truly seems like it is the start of something huge for the Cyclones. As far as Miami goes, I love Coach Larrañaga. He just seems like such a player-friendly coach. But I do have to agree with Coach, your earlier take on how it's just so hard to compete there with all those schools that are always good. All right, that appears to be the end of that discussion as Coach Rico was distracted in the background by a guest heading in. So let's get to the fun region where all the action seemed to take place, and that's going to be the East. We've already kind of talked about it. Nick, you touched on UNC. Give me a full rundown of this team because I know you're just urging to go on a 30-minute rant about this squad.
I think either them or Duke is still the hottest team in this tournament. I thought them coming into this tournament, people even had doubts with them beating Marquette, but they've just really, from the beginning of the season till now, had the biggest spike. They really changed it around. They were iffy. They almost didn't make the tournament after a home loss to Pitt. They started playing good, really picked it up, destroyed Marquette, have been making an insanely good run. They've been super hot this tournament, and they have 4 really solid players to score. And I think Hubert Davis is doing an amazing job every game with their game plan. Like versus Baylor, the number 1 seed, even though they're a little down, they were still up 25 at one point until ejections and a player gone out. But still, the game plans have been amazing. And even against St. Peter's didn't even have a shot the entire game at even making it close. They really took it to them. So the game plan has been awesome. But if we're going to go down to St. Peter's against Purdue had one of the worst game plans I've ever seen coming in. I feel like they thought they were going to come in and run through that team. Played horrible, and St. Peter's took it to them, and they went on a really good run for a 15 seed.
Yeah, Matt Painter has been at Purdue now since 2005. He's only been to one Elite Eight appearance. He only has one Elite Eight appearance, never gone any further. And you had a full 4 days to prepare against these St. Peter kids who – it's a cool story, but they're not superior athletes in any way, shape, or form. And they had no real plan, it looked like. That was a rough game to watch as someone who'd pick Purdue, but an amazing game to watch as someone who was rooting for the upset.
I agree with Nick. I think Hubert Davis did it in his first year as the head coach. Now, I know he's been involved with UNC as an assistant, but what a great job attacking a defense that no one had an answer for. I mean, they were really dominant offensively against a very, very good St. Peter's team, and really, really great coaching job. I'm with you, Nick. I thought they were awesome. They are hot, man. They're a handful to deal with. I think Duke already having gotten beaten by them most recently, having to play UNC again in this game, that's a tough one. So UNC to me is a team that's really got the most going on right now.
Yeah, so we've danced around this matchup for a while, and it's just so overbearing. It's going to be such a huge game, significance-wise, history-wise, with it probably being Coach K's final year. So much to break down there. Anyone have anything else they want to add on that matchup before we transition to the other half?
I'm going to talk about the Duke-UNC matchup. As a UNC fan, I kind of want this game to just never happen. I wanted to keep pushing it away because I know it's going to be hard. It's going to be a lot of yelling, and it's going to be a really crazy game because both teams are so hot. And I think whichever team comes out of this game is going to win it all because North Carolina has been playing insanely good, but so has Duke. Duke's also been playing really good and taking down a bunch of teams. So I think it's going to be really, really difficult for UNC to win or for Duke to win. It's going to be really close, and it's going to be a hard game to watch as either a Duke or a UNC fan. And knowing it's one of the greatest rivalries in college basketball coming to meet up in the Final Four for Coach K's final year, the significance is unreal, and it's going to be such an awesome game.
Yeah,
absolutely. I agree, man. I mean, as just an athletics fan, a guy that loves sports, me, you, come on, man. UNC Duke in the Final Four, Coach K's last stand. I mean, awesome. I can't wait for that game. I'm looking forward to it. I don't know if they've got enough beyond, but it's going to make for great. It might be the biggest Final Four watch in a lot of years. I would think the biggest. This is going to be a huge game to watch. And, man, I don't know who I'm rooting for because I love UNC, but I also love Coach K. It's a hard one.
Yeah, and this is such a crazy Final Four because you look at that matchup and it's so crazy. But then you look at the other one and you also have two just huge blue bloods, historic programs, just iconic basketball schools. What are your initial thoughts on that matchup between Kansas and Nova?
Look, I think it's going to be a Kansas win, and I don't think it's going to be too close if I'm being honest. I know Villanova's playing close. It might be a hot take. But if Kansas plays how they did in the second half versus Miami, they're going to run away. They need to – if Remy Martin needs to step up, he needs to be their best player, and they need to get in the paint and attack the paint. They're not the greatest three-point shooting team. Even though Nova's defense is very, very good, I don't think their offense is going to take over Kansas, and I think it's going to be like a 10, 15-point win for Kansas, and they're going to make it to the championship.
Coach?
I tend to agree with Nick. I think Kansas is the team on the other side of that bracket. I think Villanova's giving you everything he got. They got great coaching, but I think talent-wise, Kansas will be the team that survives that next round.
I'm not going to take away from what Colin Gillespie does for that program, though. He is definitely the best leader in all of college basketball. So if they do have a shot, it's going to come down into the hands of him, and he's going to start the spark for them. And if they're going to win that game, it's going to be because of him.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, I definitely have to disagree there. I really like Nova in this matchup. Kansas is on a tear right now. Remy Martin has been a huge emerging star for them. Who I was very surprised when he didn't break out at the beginning of the year, but he's hit his stride at the right time. I just like Villanova. Bill Self has past two Final Four runs have not gone amazing for him, including that blowout loss to Villanova I mentioned earlier 4 years ago. I think won't quite have a rematch of it, but I think it will be Villanova, and it won't be that close. That's just my take on this matchup.
I like it.
So we've reached the moment. Time to crown a champion. It's we've already said really everything we can about this Final Four, so just go out and give it to us, Nick. Who will be the champion, and who will be the most outstanding player on that?
Coach Sirico mentioned it before. You was talking about how you should probably use your head instead of your heart, but I got to go with the heart for this one. I got to stick with the boys the rest of the way. I'm going to go with UNC. I have to. And if I'm going to pick my most outstanding player for the championship, I'm going to have to go with Caleb Love. If they're going to win it all, Caleb Love needs to perform. He needs to be on fire, because even though RJ Davis was the player last time versus Duke, if they're going to take them down, it's got to be Caleb Love this time. Even though Armando could be a good pick, it could be any four of either Armando Bacot, Brady Manick, RJ Davis, Caleb Love. I think the most important player needs to be Caleb Love. He needs to be able to step up and be a scoring option. But I'm going to stick with the boys. I'm going to go UNC to win it all.
All right. I think we all knew that pick was coming. They haven't let you down yet, so maybe that'll continue. Coach, give us your pick.
Okay, so I agree with Nick. I am going to go with I'm going with Hubert Davis. I'm going with UNC to beat Kansas in the final. But I think the most important player in this game and throughout this tournament, at least he was for sure last night, is Armando Bacot. I like him. I love his presence. I think he plays great basketball. He is really a blue blood guy in terms of his basketball experiences, playing at some of the best high schools in the country. And I like them. I like him. That's the way I see it playing out.
Yeah, he's UNC has got just such a great core of guys there who and it's very interesting that you're not necessarily looking at, guys who are regarded as future, NBA All-Stars. You have really just great college basketball players, as you said, blue blood guys. And with the theme of this tournament being blue bloods, couldn't come at a better time for UNC. I'm taking my pick from the other half, and I guess kind of already know who this is. The Villanova Wildcats are my NCAA champions, and I think they'll be led by Jermaine Samuels. I really love Gillespie, but a lot of what he does doesn't jump out on the stat sheets. Samuels will get open a lot. He'll hit some big threes, and he will lead them to the championship. I think them versus Duke or UNC will be an incredible game. You can't go wrong either way. I'm kind of glad that I don't even have to make an official pick there, because it's a toss-up in every sense of the word.
I think it's going to be crazy if it's a UNC Nova championship again. I don't know if I can go through it, but if it's a UNC Nova championship and they take them down, I could definitely say that I could forget about the Jenkins three-pointer for the win.
That game, that 2016 championship, is really the game that took my fandom of college basketball to a whole nother level, because I liked it, and then I watched that, and that's where you just realize this whole month of basketball is absolutely incredible.
Now, Theodore, you mentioned that Drew Border had picks. We want him on the air. What are they?
Yes, he is going with Duke, and he thinks Paulo Banchero will lead them It's the most cookie cutter pick.
Come on.
It is the most just low IQ pick, and I think we.
And what did he pick
Come
for
on,
the
Drew.
five?
But let me
Did
just
he go
say,
Villanova
if he gets it
again?
right, he wins it all. So everyone here is in striking distance. Anyone here can come away with the win. So let's just sit back and enjoy this Final Four. I know, Nick, you and me got our press passes secured. We're going down to New Orleans, covering the game.
I already bought the plane tickets, bought the tickets. We're going to be out there.
Coach, they denied the request we sent to get you there.
That's okay. Listen, the Purple Champions Club is going to buy you guys dinner the first
Purple
2 nights that
Champions.
you're out there. All right, so we
All
got
right.
you guys covered, man. Always represent us the right way.
That's
Thanks
what I
for
like to
having me on
hear.
the show, Teddy. Appreciate it, buddy. Nick, you're the man.
All right, we'll be back next week to wrap this thing up. For Nick Nicosia, Coach Tirico, and the absent Drew Warner, I'm Theodore Fernandez. This has been our Overtime March Madness Playoff Special.
Go Wildcats.